Hi everyone, it's Diane with SewBatik, and this morning Bruce and I unloaded a small shipment of Batik Rayon, and we're so excited to share with you replenishment of some of the things that we've been out of stock on or are nearly out of stock on, and a few new fabrics. I'd like to start by showing you the newest fabrics, because I think that's the fun part. Our Batik Rayon, for those of you who are new to SewBatik, is 45 inches wide, and it has amazing feel and drape, and it is perfect for pretty much any garment. It is a woven fabric, jackets, tank tops, tops, tunics, dresses, pants, whatever it happens to be. It's really a beautiful fabric to work with if you've never worked with Batik Rayon. So let me get started. I want to share with you, and I'm going to start with my favorite color, which is blue. You know I love blue. This is a new color name for us, and it's called Azure. If you are familiar with some of our other fabrics, whether it be our batik cotton or jersey knit, even some of our canvas, we do have a shade called Dusty Denim, which is kind of it's pretty implied, but it's denim-y shade, but it's a little bit dusty. This is Azure, and it has a little bit more blue behind it than that dusty denim-y blue. And I really, really love this shade. Let me see if I can't open this up a little bit. We have this now in, the motif is Medora Flora. And hopefully the lights are going to show this properly, but I do have some close-ups that will be on our website for each one of the new items, so you can see each one a little bit closer. This is Medora Flora in the shade of Azure, and I'm going to try to show this alongside the motif of Valhalla. We produced this in both motifs, because I have to tell you, everybody has their preference for the depth of color that you can get in each one of the motifs. So if I put these up next to each other, you're going to see that they read slightly different. This one is going to read a little bit darker, the Medora Flora, because the motif that's stamped on the batik is tinier dots. The background shade of the Azure is going to show more. This is Valhalla, which has a much larger stamped motif. So you're going to see the undertones of the white and kind of creamy white shade. So that's how they read a little bit different, but both are absolutely gorgeous. I really love this new shade. And I think for me, I'll end up making like a new top or a new tunic with one of these two, because I think it's just going to be, I just love the blue. Now, it might be kind of fun to put them together in more of a patchworky top as well, or to do something fun to coordinate and use more than one fabric. You know, when I work with the Fit for Art patterns, they always have so many different options for different paneling, if you want to call it paneling. So one of the front panels could be the Medora Flora, your sleeves could be Valhalla, and just the subtle difference adds such wonderful character to a jacket or a tunic. And Fit for Art has some beautiful, beautiful patterns. The next two fabrics are shades you are familiar with, but maybe not in this motif. We're switching things up a little bit and changing some of the motifs. Some of you have requested to stick with some of the older, more traditional motifs that we've had in our collection for a while, but then we also want to introduce different combinations for those of you who really want something brand new. This is Valhalla in the shade of Early Autumn. We still have this in stock with our animal print motif, but I really love how the Valhalla motif shows all the different tans and really olive green shades and teal shades that are inside this motif. Really love how this turned out. The next color is, of course, Lake. We don't seem to introduce new fabric without introducing a new motif in the shade of Lake. And so the Flock Together motif, which you guys love, so thank you for that. but there wouldn't be a better combination than the shade of Lake in this flocked together motif. And you'll probably, again, talking about motif size, you're going to see more of the golden tan and brown in here, simply because there's more depth in the stamp. There's more space to stamp. And so you see a lot more of that shade intermixed with our blues and teals that are in the background of this lake shade. We still have this available also as a hand-dyed lake, hand-dyed fabric coordinate, and we still have Gardenista Vine, as well as we restocked our Valhalla motif in the shade of Lake. And I'm looking over there because that's where our inventory of rayon is, besides the entire collection back here. That's also all of our rayon as well. The next grouping of fabric, this is the shade of Lilac. This is our Medora Flora motif. We did a lot, you know, we produced more shades using the Medora Flora motif. I love how the tiny, tiny dots seem to be showing up a little bit more, and it really shows the character of that motif. So this is Lilac, and it's really a springy, bright shade of lilac. And again, hopefully it's reading properly. Our next shade is again the Medora Flora motif, and this is in the shade of Purple Magic. The depth of this colorway, it almost reads a little bit more grape than it does the blue backgrounds that we've seen in our cotton and jersey knit of Purple Magic. Bruce and I both talked about whether or not we should rename the color on this one, just in case you're familiar with the Purple Magic and have received that in either the Phoenix motif or another motif that we've stamped. So let us know what you think about that in the description below. We're always open to fun color names. This is currently going to be Purple Magic. So on our website, you'll see Purple Magic, and in the heading of, or the name of the item, we're going to put just arrived, the words just arrived, so you know what's new to our collection. And it's also going to be, of course, in our what's new tab, which is the first tab that you see on the homepage of our website. I'm going to share with you two new motifs in the colorway of Cream Pearl. It's been a little while since we've had Cream Pearl in our rayon collection. It is probably our #1 colorway in our 115-inch wide batik cotton collection. Every time we order that fabric and produce that fabric, it probably lasts in inventory about 2 months, and it is completely gone. We are continuing to mass produce our Valhalla in Cream Pearl, or whatever happens to be the new motif that we decide to put this colorway into. But this is the Valhalla motif in the shade of Cream Pearl, but in our rayon. How gorgeous is this fabric? Just the dusty gray pearl that is intermixed with the creamy tones. It's just gorgeous. I can see this as either a really beautiful tunic top all by itself, or as like a tank top or a camisole underneath a really, really drapey jacket. There's so many things that we can do with the light shades that are in this Cream Pearl fabric. Now this, I'll set this up just like it did with the Azure, but here is the Medora Flora motif in the shade of Cream Pearl. So it's going to read a little bit different, again, because the Medora Flora motif has many more teeny, teeny, tiny dots. And so if I put these both up together, I don't know if this one actually has that much of a difference in it from my perspective back here, but you probably see a little bit more of the creamy undertones in the Medora Flora motif. Okay. So those two are new. And then I have one more that is brand new, and we need your help. We need your help to answer the question of what is the color name going to be. Because originally we were working with the premise that it was going to be called Cope and Blue. The Copen blue that we've produced before is a little bit bluer, brighter. This has the depth, and you'll see this, probably waiting for me to show this to you. This has the depth of more of a teal, like a deep teal. However, it reads blue as well. What do you think? What do we call this fabric? Color. This is the Valhalla motif. So in the description below, give us a hint. What do you think we should call this? I'm going to put this also on our Facebook page, our Facebook group. So if you're not in our Facebook group, definitely go over to Facebook and request to sign up for our group. Give us a name. Give us a name for what you think this fabric could be. Now on the website, I am going to put it up there as the Valhalla. It's going to just say the name teal, but that's just not glamorous enough. We need something with a little bit more spice to it. Now, I will tell you that this Valhalla teal is just beautiful if you put it with the cream pearl. The shades just accent each other so beautifully. Isn't that beautiful? So I see this as something like a camisole with a jacket or something like that anyway. Let's share with you what's back in stock. And I think you guys have been waiting quite some time for our hand-dyed tuxedo. So we do have our tuxedo back in stock for those of you who are just waiting for a solid black. I don't think I need to say anything more. It is a solid black. And I'm so glad it's back. So it's going to take me a while to get all of the items that we reference the tuxedo with back in stock on the website, but we will get there. In addition to the hand-dyed tuxedo that's back in stock, I'd like to share with you 4 different fabrics that we do have back. One of them is our Flock Together. This is deep royal blue shade. The reason I pulled this small bolt is because I want to share with you when we get down in stock to only having maybe 4 yards left or 3 yards left, we make that item out of stock. There are too many times when we get caught and our inventory is off or something is wrong and you place an order for something and we just don't have the yardage available. What we've started to do is just make it out of stock. If you really are in love with a fabric that is showing out of stock, jump on the chat that's online. You'll see the little bubble in the lower right-hand corner of any screen. Jump on the chat, ask me if we have something in stock. Ask me if we have enough yardage. And that goes for any one of our fabrics, whether it be our backing fabric, our cotton, or our jersey knit or canvas or whatever it happens to be. Just give me a note and I'll run out here and figure out what we have left, okay? And if not, when are we getting it again? I'm really glad that we have the Flock Together deep royal blue back in stock. Also, the Flock Together, and this one is Jubilee Red. This is another one that we got really low on, and so we're back in stock of the Jubilee Red, and I made a long sleeved shirt out of this fabric, and it has been one of your favorites as well. So thank you for ordering that garment kit. Autumn Fire, this is Garden East Divine Autumn Fire, and this is, I'm going to open this one up. This one and Napa were back in stock. And this is just a multitude of autumnal shades. I call it autumnal because there are teals and greens and rusts and browns and a little bit of pink in here. Just a beautiful shade of Garden East Divine is what we call this motif in the shade of Autumn Fire. So this is back in stock, as well as Napa. Napa is very similar to Garden East Divine Autumn Fire, but it gets into the purple shades, kind of the wine purple, more of the green and brown combinations. Just a beautiful, beautiful fabric. Now let me double check what else on my sheet here that we did get back in stock. One moment here, because there was a couple others I wanted to share. The other fabric I wanted to share with you, we're back in stock of the Flock Together cerulean, which is in this jacket. I have a bolt of it in the shelf over there, but the cerulean is a really beautiful blue / periwinkle. This jacket, I think this was like the #1 selling garment kit when I first put this together and shared it with you on one of our Fabric Fridays. It is McCall's 8052. And what's so great about it is you can make it any length you want. I have a long version of this and a shorter version. The pattern is also for a vest, so sleeveless as well as short sleeve, which is perfect for this time of year. It just has an amazing drape to it. And that's why, for me, Batik Rayon is just a wonderful fabric to work with. It is a little tricky. If you've never worked with rayon before, it'll feel like it's sliding around and slippery. But once I don't know, the first time I worked with Batik Rayon, I spray starched my fabric to make it feel a little bit stiffer. I did that after I washed my fabric, but I spray starched it, laid it out on the cutting table, put my pattern pieces down, cut everything out, sewed it up. And then when I was done sewing, I washed all the spray starch out, and I just felt like it gave me the confidence to never have to worry about the spray starching anymore, but I was able to really feel how it was to work with the rayon. Because if you're used to working with a knit fabric, or you're a quilter and you're used to working with a stiffer starched cotton, it will feel different. You may even get a little bit frustrated, but it's amazing to wear, and I think you're going to absolutely love working with it. So those are the fabrics that we have that are new and are replenishment. Phew. Okay. If you're new to working with Batik Rayon, I have a couple of tips and suggestions. Well, as with all of our fabric, I do want you to make sure that you're pre-washing your fabric before you lay out pattern pieces and cut out and sew your garment. Pre-wash your fabric with Synthropol. I have two different types of Synthropol here. One is for washing machines that have a lot of water. Might be a top load machine that has a nice, great big barrel with great agitation and a lot of water. Synthropol, the regular Synthropol, is the perfect product. There is a low foam version, which I use all the time because I have a front load machine that has little water. A lot of the new washing machines are designed for low water usage, and they still might be a top load machine, but they just don't use as much water as what the older machines used. Those machines, if anything on your washing machine says low water, definitely use the Synthropol for low foam. When I was washing 2 yards of Batik Rayon yesterday, I used 1.5 teaspoons of the low foam Synthropol. I set my washing machine to warm water wash and a warm water rinse with an extra rinse, just to make sure that it cleans out any of the suds and soap and really gets rid of anything that's left in my washing machine. I then take the fabric and I shake it out, put it in the dryer, medium heat, just until it's about dry. Then I'll take it out of the dryer, I'll fold it nicely and have it ready to go for laying out my pattern pieces and finishing my garment. These are 4-ounce bottles and they last a long time, unless you're doing a lot of fabric projects with batik fabric. So if you're working with cotton or jersey knit or canvas or linen or rayon, this is your fabric wash. I always recommend an 80-12 Topstitch needle when sewing with Batik Rayon. It's just about the right size. And I say that simply because we don't want excessive holes. And I just think that the 80-12 or even a smaller needle size is perfect for working with a woven fabric and one as delicate as a Batik Rayon. When it comes to thread, it's your choice. You can use either a polyester or a cotton. I typically am working with a 40 weight thread when I'm working on my serger and want to do some overlock stitches. I think the 40 weight thread really gives it a nice finish to a serged edge. 50 weight, I like a 50 weight thread in the needle because it just sort of melts into the fabric. The thread size seems to melt with it, and it's perfect size for working with our rayon. So I always put a 50 weight in the needles and a 40 weight in my loopers of my serger. I think that's about it. Oh, and one more thing. The interfacing, when you're working with rayon, and let's say this particular jacket did not have any interfacing in it, but let's say you're working on a jacket that has a facing or a collar or a top that has a neckline that you want to add a little bit of stability, I recommend the Envy Silk Fusible interfacing, and this is a very sheer interfacing. Again, it's fusible, so one side is fusible. It comes in both black and white. We have this on our website, and anytime that we are working with our rayon, we include in our kits the Envy Silk, because it's just the perfect weight. Now, there are a couple of exceptions to that. So if I've made a rayon classic shirt with a collar, I will include a little heavier interfacing just because I want a little bit more weight on that collar than the Envy Silk will provide. But if you want a similar weight to the weight of the rayon, just a little bit excess stability, then it's the Envy Silk would be perfect for you. Now I think that's it. Thank you for letting me share with you what is back in stock in our Batik Rayon collection, as well as our new fabrics. Let us know what you love as your favorite new fabric, and any ideas you might have for sprucing up the name of Valhalla Teal. So let us know what you think. We need some really creative color name. Well, until next time, keep sewing, smiling, and sharing.